Hey, I'm Angie. Welcome to my podcast, Chaotic Harmony. If my memory serves me correctly, I had to sit in the dark around a bunch of preteens that were covered in pimples and they had their hair, greasy hair all slicked back and body odor for days while a sex education movie played for the entire classroom. The damn movie, it looked like it was published in the 1980s, if not earlier. Giggles would sweep through the air whenever a drawing of the male reproductive system would pop up on the TV screen. That very awkward movie felt like it lasted forever. No matter how much you tried getting out of watching it, it was mandatory. They had to teach you in school. So, my theory is here, if they are teaching our youngsters all about sex and all of the changes their bodies will be going through, then let's do something similar for the people hitting 40 years plus. Picture it with me. A group of women, all going through different stages of menopause, sitting in an overly air-conditioned room, talking about what their daily vitamin regimen is, exchanging tips for aging with each other, and sharing which doctors worked best for all of their midlife health issues. Come to think of it, maybe that is what a book club is for also. It kind of sounds like it anyways. And if so, I need to possibly find one of those clubs around me. But until then, I guess I will continue to embrace this new lifestyle of mine and try like hell to do it with grace. Aging started off slow for me. I think anyways. Simple little changes with me and my mood and all that happened here and there. And then the next thing you knew, I was standing in front of a cashier, speechless. Yeah, me. Speechless. Crazy. I know. But I really was. I was completely unsure at the time if I was insulted or not. The young man behind the counter in front of me had rung up all of my stuff and then asked me if I qualified for the senior discount. I truly didn't know if I wanted to smack him or laugh my ass off. I mean, I knew my hair was changing colors and getting thin and all that, but was it really that bad? Was it really that noticeable? Now, I stood there in front of this man for a hot second or two, and eventually I just decided to take the safe route. I declared that I indeed qualified for that senior discount. Heck, any discount is better than nothing these days. And then the young man asked me for my ID and crushed my dreams. That 10% discount that I could have gotten was stripped from me. I didn't even want the damn discount when I walked into the store. I didn't even know it existed until he offered it to me. So I found myself even more upset that he denied me the discount that he offered to me so freely. That, my dear, is when I realize I'm getting old. I grew up watching my grandma. Ugh, embarrassing. She did it embarrassingly, but I love her for it because that's how I am now. But she would proudly announce to any cashier that didn't even care or wasn't working with anybody that she was a senior. Sometimes she did it to people that didn't even work there, just to make sure they knew she was getting the discount. She was constantly looking for those discounts. So once that cashier dangled that 10% discount in front of me, as if it were a prize for being old, I knew I had something to look forward to in the near future. And I actually understood my grandma even more because of that experience. One day, I too shall be standing tall and proud as I demand my senior discount wherever I go. And I don't care who's with me. When I was your age is a phrase I catch myself saying way too often lately. I personally would roll my eyes whenever I heard someone say anything close to that when I was in my 20s. And yet here I am telling my children when I was your age with a bit of passion behind each word, trying desperately to make sure my children not only hear my words but feel them. I need them to feel them. The theory I was trying to prove was so compelling in my mind. When I was your age, I had 3 children and had to figure my shit out. I couldn't live with my parents. I couldn't just lay in bed like you do all day and game all night. I was trying to say, grow the fuck up, by using my own life experiences as an example. I have been saying that same kind of phrases for a few years now. And literally this past weekend, my adorable husband stopped me from preaching to the same adult man-child of mine that I always preach to and said, hun. He can't help it that you were a slut when you were his age. Whoa, man. Whoa, not cool. You are supposed to be on my side. You want this kid out of this house just as much as I do. But at the same time, was that really what I was coming off like every single time I said that? I mentally stepped back a bit just and thought about it. I realized that my 20-year-old adult man-child was rolling his eyes at me the same exact way I would at that age. I became the old person I found to be a bit annoying back in the day. Great. Good. Now, good to know, but I doubt it will ever stop me from preaching when I was your age, even if it makes me sound like a slut, okay? You see, I'm too old to care what I looked like when I was 20, and honestly, I'm just spitting out facts that they will hopefully appreciate at a later date. Because as I'm getting older, I realize all the stuff I really didn't care about that I was hearing from other people, I now care about. So, yeah, just spitting out facts. Starting your period is considered to be the golden ticket to becoming an adult woman. Some girls nowadays even throw period parties. Hell, some of them even name the period. Menopause is considered to be the golden ticket to becoming the miserable old lady that is best left alone, and also known as menopausal. I thought the whole crazy cat lady thing was sort of creepy, basically my entire life. Who the hell would want that lifestyle? All alone, except for the 100 cats running around everywhere, needing you for only food and water. What if I die? Do they eat me? That's why it's kind of creepy to me. Then my night sweats started, followed by the major mood swings. And I'm bipolar, so it's kind of hard to figure out. Is it menopause? Is it bipolar? Who the hell knows? It's a toss-up. Hot flashes that never seem to get any better. Skin changes, vertigo, insomnia, pretty much anything you can think about, it happens. The idea of living with a ton of cats all by myself sounds so much more appealing now since all of the menopausal symptoms started for me. The cats will at least not talk back when I'm throwing an attitude at them. Again, that same thought comes to mind, and if I cop an attitude to all those cats, will they eat me? And I'm pretty damn sure my husband would be much better off without a walking furnace of a wife that is ready to snap on everyone and anything in sight. My mother-in-law warned me. She really did. She would be drenched in sweat more times than not whenever I saw her while I was dating her son. She would be fanning herself with whatever was in arm's reach and complaining and complaining and complaining about the menopause. Sometimes she would even laugh a little bit, like in a creepy way, like saying shit like, Angie, this is coming for you one day. Now, in her defense, she really did look miserable, possibly even sleep deprived. But me being me, I always had to give her shit about it. To be honest, I thought she was just over exaggerating everything. She even tried the whole, when I was your age, Angie. Yeah, she threw that crap on me. I just rolled my eyes and went on about my day. Little did I know, my golden ticket to becoming a miserable old lady was coming sooner than I anticipated. I had to get a hysterectomy at a young age, but I had my kids at a very young age. So all of the symptoms of menopause I picked up, and I picked on my mother-in-law for, started and now are a part of my daily life. And at times, when I'm going through a major hot flash, and it's like, oh my God, I feel like my skin's just going to peel off or like melt off, I hear my mother-in-law's voice in my head, like it's haunting me. I told you it was coming, Angie. I think she seriously cursed me. I'm not sure. Because I am literally dying over here as we freaking speak. I need a barn fan, a shower, my central air set at 65, and a ceiling fan on high mode almost every single night. All while my poor, sweet, adorable husband has to lay in bed, curled up in our king-size blanket, looking like a frozen popsicle. And I'm like, oh, I'm dying. The hot flashes get so bad that I have to make sure I choose the right chair to sit on while in public. Because as soon as I get up, my sweaty ass print will be deeply, deeply imprinted onto that chair, making it look like I pissed myself. I guess if anyone were to ever point it out, I could possibly say, I can't help it. My ass is hot. I'll actually have to try that. Fun fact. I always wondered why older ladies had short hair. Like literally almost every single old lady I know has short hair. But now that I have the hot flashes, I realize they're probably just to have the short hair because they don't want all that hair stuck on their sweaty ass neck. Just saying. Sunday drivers. I am sure everyone knows what I mean when I say that. It was something my mother referred to whenever an older person was driving down the road slower than she would like. Once I became a mother, I understood exactly how my mother felt when she was behind a Sunday driver. Damn Sunday drivers, get out of my damn way. I found myself saying the same exact shit my own mother once said to me every time she passed an older woman that looked like she could barely see over the damn steering wheel. But hear me out. I have places to go and kids in the back seat fighting and whining the whole way home. The less amount of time that we spent cramped in the same vehicle was better. I was losing my sanity with each drive I took with our children. So those Sunday drivers needed to move. They really did. I felt like I was constantly in a hurry to get somewhere because of our children. Then my husband and I got older. Our children that once filled 2 of our vehicles turned into adults, and they started getting their own vehicles for the most part. And we were finally able to buy a vehicle we liked. Not a vehicle that would best fit our Schultz bunch. No, a vehicle we wanted. 1 year ago, this month actually, my husband and I bought our first Jeep. We named her Ethel in honor of my grandma. Ethel isn't just a vehicle to get us from point A to point B. Ethel is an experience. Without realizing it right away, Ethel turned us into those Sunday morning drivers. I was in denial of just how slow we drove around with Ethel until my husband and I were called out by our daughter Abigail. All because we were supposed to be at her house at a certain time and we were only going 30 to 45 miles per hour on the back roads. I still don't want to admit our driving has slowed down like our lives have. If anything, I'd like to think it's because we are taking in the scenery, listening to our music, getting that wind therapy. Okay. Saying that out loud does kind of sound like a old lady thing to say. Then again, I refuse to accept that. I truly do, because it's a Jeep thing that our children don't and probably won't understand. Waking up to my body feeling like someone filled a pillowcase full of bar soap and beat the hell out of me was never something I thought I would experience until I did. I'm not going to lie. For a bit there, I thought my husband may have had a hand in whatever was causing me to wake up feeling like that. I mean, he does do weird stuff in his sleep, and I do give him a lot of attitude throughout the day. But then he started waking up yelling out in pain, his right hand cradling the arch of his back as he limps his way to the bathroom. And he had the audacity to say to me, "What the hell did you do to me while I was sleeping?" And then it clicked. We are either WWE wrestling in our sleep and not realizing it, very plausible, or our bodies are aging and we don't want to admit it. It's kind of sad to admit, but I'd rather think we are beating the hell out of each other in our sleep than admit that our bodies are slowly going to shit. Who wants to admit that? There are times where all it takes, though, is one good sneeze and my entire body feels like it's out of place. Everything's out of socket. I want to go to a chiropractor appointment. I end up trying to walk it off. I mean, it's just a sneeze. But that doesn't seem to work out very well at all. I'll be holding my back like an overdue pregnant lady as I take a tiny step forward, yelling out, like my mother-in-law, "Owie, owie, owie." My knees buckling and shaking all at the same time. Hell, I'm not even sure if my neck is connected to my spine at that point. All over a sneeze. What joys do I have to look forward to next? Who would have thought that my days would start off with me looking up what the current weatherman has reported for the day? When I was growing up, I would always make jokes with my grandpa whenever I spent the night there. Because as soon as the newspaper boy dropped the daily newspaper off at the front door, my grandpa would get up from his couch as quickly as his body would allow him to. He would then slide what he called his readers onto his nose and then sit there very, very patiently until he read every inch of that newspaper. He even got to the obituaries and would look over at me and say, "I was just reading them to make sure that I'm not in there," and would give me a little smirk. I remember telling myself as I was watching him that I would never be that person. I didn't want to read any news. Most of all the news is sad. The weather was something I couldn't control, and truthfully, I had too many other things to worry about. And yet here I am. I became that person that checks the weather. And if it seems worthy enough, I will go as far as texting my adult children. Because if I didn't care at their age, who's to say they care now? Someone has to be out there watching out for them. I am still their mother at the end of the day. But that's not even the half of it. My grandparents also owned a police scanner. That scanner was on a dusty old shelf directly behind my grandma's recliner. All she had to do was recline back just a little bit and hit the button to turn it on. The scanner was turned on just about every night for around an hour or so, and it drove me absolutely nuts because the TV and the scanner were constantly in competition when it came to the volume because the scanner was my grandma was in charge of and my grandpa took over the TV. I could barely make it 5 minutes in that living room with the both of them bickering back and forth. Turn it down, turn it up. Oh. And they lived in Green Bay, near the Packers Stadium. So needless to say, that scanner was constantly going off. There was no way in hell I was ever going to be that old. Until I found myself calling one of our children to make sure they weren't the ones in the accident that was just posted on one of the many police scanner pages I belong to on Facebook. Yeah. I currently live near a fire station, and you bet your sweet ass we turn on the scanner just to see what's going on anytime those engines and sirens turn on. I understand it all way too well now. It's a part of the aging process. We care more about things we didn't have time to care about when we were younger. For example, birds. That cute mason jar bird feeder I found at the rummage sale for only $5, and it was homemade, has been my entertainment for weeks now. Who would have thought that Angie would be sitting there picking out bird seed and hoping the birds were happy with my choice? I recently found out that there's bird feeders with cameras on there, and I'm getting all salty that I don't already have one. What the fuck happened to me? Fun fact. Your skin doesn't get any better with age either, unless you can afford surgery. So be careful when picking out the perfect tattoo site. My tattoo, my tattoo that originally said I, with a heart, you, Anthony, that is perfectly placed on my left tit, doesn't look like it says I heart you, Anthony, at times. Most of the time, actually. It says, I... Yeah. All of the things I never cared about or put too much thought into when I was younger are now super, and I mean super important to me. It all became even more important to me once we became grandparents. I got 2 beautiful grandbabies. I want to continue our family traditions that we created ourselves and make more. I want to leave a legacy, a good one to be proud of. I never cared about all that crap when I was 20. Growing old has many, and I mean many downs, as I pointed out already. But at the same time, it has so many more plus sides to it as well. I was judged my entire adult life for having children at a young age. And it bothered me for a long time. It was, oh my gosh, she did this out of wedlock, blah, 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 blah. However, I am very, and I mean very grateful I did. I will be in my grandbabies' lives, hopefully for a long time. I will get to witness all of their milestones and possibly be around for their babies. With that being said, oh, please continue to judge me, please. Because while you are doing that, I will be enjoying the life my husband and I created, just at a much, much slower pace. Thank you for tuning in and listening to me go on and on about my midlife issues. My podcast is now available on YouTube. And if you haven't already checked out my Facebook page, Chaotic Harmony, then go and check it out and give her a like. If you would like to support my podcast, just click on the support the show link. Last but not least, Help me make this world better by embracing the weird. And please, for the love of God, make normal feel boring. Bye.